Way back in 1999, Blink-182 were the crown princes of pop punk. A flurry of mom jokes, teen angst, and fantastic punk rock riffage made the world fall in love with the three kids from Southern California. But one track on the album they released that year hinted at something else. Aliens Exist on Enema of the State expanded the scope of Blink-182's songwriting, looking beyond the boundaries of our world and into the dark reaches of space. But surely it was just another fun, throwaway song from the masters of fun throwaway songs. Surely songwriter Tom DeLonge wasn't being serious. When was he ever being serious? As we take a journey into the mind of Tom, a journey that includes weird, unexplained sightings, government cover-ups, and even personal contact with extraterrestrial life, we're going to find out just how serious he was. So, let's get into it. As a youngster growing up in Poway, California, Tom DeLonge was obsessed with three things: punk rock, skateboarding, and the mysteries of the universe. His interest in those first two things resulted in a friendship that would change the course of Tom's life forever. A friendship with fellow skater punk Mark Hoppus. Getting together with drummer Scott Rayner, the band recorded a bunch of different demos, including the full-length Buddha tape, which eventually landed them a deal with Cargo Music. They released the album Cheshire Cat through Cargo in 1995. This was a pretty big hit for a local indie label like Cargo, and sold 70,000 copies in just over a year. This meant Blink could basically tour the world, despite still being just a bunch of punk kids from Southern Cali. When major label MCA came calling, offering a ton of recording resources and an even bigger platform for the band, the decision was easy. Blink signed to a major and put out Dude Ranch, featuring the single Damn It. Damn It scored Blink major radio airplay, but there were tensions. Tensions that threatened to break the band just as it looked like they were about to break through for real. Rayner's drinking was getting too much, unreliable and prone to drunken injuries, like breaking his heels jumping off a balcony at their MCA signing party. Rayner had to go. He was replaced by Travis Barker, and the classic Blink-182 lineup was born. This was the lineup that would record Enema of the State in 1999. An absolute stormer of a pop-punk album that really put Blink on the map, if they weren't basically there already. The album encapsulates both of Tom's youthful obsessions, punk rock and skateboarding. Whoa, hold on there. Weren't there three obsessions? Yep, the mysteries of the universe. This obsession had not gone away. In fact, on this album, Tom would write about it for the first time. Aliens Exist starts off like a pretty standard Blink-182 track. There's a quick encounter between a confused kid and a parent who just doesn't get them. "Hey mom, there's something in the back room," Tom sings. "Hope it's not the creatures from above." But then Tom goes into more serious territory. Lines like, "I know the CIA would say, what you hear is all hearsay," and "dark and scary, ordinary. Explanation, information. Nice to know ya, paranoia." There's also the hint that he feels pushed out by his bandmates due to obsession with the unexplained. "My best friend thinks I'm just telling lies. I'm not like you guys." I don't think anyone really thought too hard about these lyrics back in 1999. Blink-182 lyrics just weren't something you needed to think too hard about. And on the Mark, Tom, and Travis Show live album, the entire song becomes a smutty joke. The line, "I got an injection of fear from the abduction," becomes, "I got an injection of love from the..." Well, this is Blink-182 we're talking about, so you can guess the rest. I suppose it kinda rhymes with abduction. But the final line, 12 majestic lies, remains in both versions. What the heck was this all about? What were these 12 lies? Tom would later explain. It's a direct reference to the MJ-12 or Majestic 12, supposedly a top-secret committee that investigated the Roswell UFO mysteries of the 1950s. But this left more questions. Was Tom just goofing off in his standard way? Or was this something he really believed in? Aliens Exist might have been dismissed as a bit of a joke at the time, but it seems Tom was deadly serious about conspiracies and visitations from outer space. Only 2 years later, in 2001, Tom was getting deep into UFOs, extraterrestrial life, and the theory that we're not alone in the universe. In an interview of unknown origin, Tom talks about the work of a friend who had spent the last decade gathering evidence on UFO activity and on government cover-ups. Tom even shows us some of his own evidence, including tapes with 136 hours of testimony on the subject. He also tells a disturbing tale of a man who was working on a nuclear cleanup operation and wound up coming face to face with an alien life form. 7 stories below the Pentagon. Tom was pretty convinced of this stuff. His bandmates, less so. In fact, Mark and Travis thought the whole thing was pretty funny. Tom was always talking about weird shit, Travis would later say. The early 2000s found Blink scoring huge commercial success, but it was a difficult time for Blink's individual members, and the fact that even his best friends didn't take him seriously didn't make things any easier for Tom. After damaging his back in 2002, he started writing music with a darker twist, which eventually evolved into the Boxcar Racer side project. A side project that included Travis, but did not include Mark, other than providing vocals on a single album track. So now Mark was pissed at Tom for basically leaving him out, and Tom was pissed at Mark for not taking him seriously. Blink soldiered on for one more album, but no further. DeLonge wanted to do something different. He wanted to expand his horizons. Did that mean looking to the stars? Well, sort of. When Tom DeLonge left Blink-182 for the first time in 2005, his first project was Angels and Airwaves. There's a definite spacey feel to A&A, at least more so than there is with Blink. Tom was now exploring science fiction territory with his creative endeavors. But what about science fact? Those secrets, it turned out, were still to be revealed. Tom didn't stay gone from Blink-182 for too long. After the tragic death of producer Jerry Finn in August 2008, followed shortly by Travis's horrific plane accident, the band were back together. For 6 years, they tried to hold it together, but that period of Blink's history was characterized by infighting and distrust for one another. Mark would say that the whole thing was weird. The vibe was just off. Travis would suggest that Tom was introverted and withdrawn, like he had his mind on other things. In 2015, the uncertainty was over. It became clear that Tom did have his mind on other things, and those other things were aliens. In January of that year, DeLonge abruptly up and quit Blink-182. He said he was working on non-musical endeavors. Later, he'd say he was helping out with an issue of national security. People were confused, and understandably so. Not least his bandmates. In fact, they were pissed. Travis spoke about how the band had planned to record an album, but Tom dragged his feet. Then, after Mark and Travis had worked hard to land a record deal, Tom up and quit. So everyone does hella amounts of work to get a record deal, and now Tom isn't part of Blink-182, Travis said. It's hard to cover for someone who's disrespectful and ungrateful. You don't even have the balls to call your bandmates and tell them you're not going to record or do anything Blink-related. The following month, Tom sat down for an interview in which he clarified things. Or, at least he tried to clarify things. He recounted a night spent camping at a location along the flight path to Area 51. Here, he began a process of meditation and focus, allowing him to project his thoughts. The objective? Communication with extraterrestrials. At 3 a.m., he made contact. My whole body felt like it had static electricity. It sounded like there were about 20 people there talking, Tom said. And instantly my mind goes, okay, they're at our campsite. They're not here to hurt us. They're talking about shit. But I can't make out what they're saying. But they're working on something. Okay, so not that clear. But at least now people sort of understood why Tom left Blink. He had found a far greater mission. Later in 2015, that mission began to coalesce into something more tangible. DeLonge founded To the Stars, Academy of Arts and Science. With this organization, Tom wanted to overcome supposed government secrecy about space and the universe. He'd achieve this by bringing together the worlds of science, aerospace, and entertainment, and allowing gifted researchers the freedom to explore exotic science and technologies that can change the world. No one was accusing Tom of thinking small. The following year, Tom, along with British-born novelist A.J. Hartley, released Secret Machines, Book 1, Chasing Shadows. This was the first project to be released through the new organization. Though it was a fictional work, the novel is apparently based on factual events, and events that had been covered up by the US government. Here's what DeLonge himself had to say about the project. After taking over a year to meet, prove myself and acquire 8 elite advisors, each of whom has held the highest positions within the military, scientific, and executive branch offices, this story contains true information from a secret historical record, some of which has never been heard until now. He followed this up with an Angels and Airwaves EP, designed as an audio companion or soundtrack to the book. A second novel, A Fire Within, was released in 2018, shortly after a non-fiction book entitled Secret Machines, Gods. Tom hadn't been joking about his new company. To the Stars was going, quite literally, to the stars. And he wasn't just writing and recording music. Tom was in communication with individuals at the highest levels of government. In 2016, WikiLeaks released a bunch of emails that Tom had been sending back and forth with John Podesta, the former chief of staff under Bill Clinton, a counselor to Obama, and chairman of Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign. In their emails, Tom and Podesta discussed Roswell and extraterrestrial life, which makes sense. From the very beginning, Tom had been interested in cover-ups and media manipulation through programs like Operation Mockingbird. Gaining access to people on the inside of government seems like the obvious next step. But wasn't it all just theory and hearsay? Or was there actual weight to what Tom had to say? It was clear Tom had the ear of some serious insiders. In 2017, Tom leaked 3 UFO videos, supposedly taken by the US Navy and then classified by the government. The videos, apparently from 2004, are made up of grainy, black and white footage taken from US Navy fighter jets as they track a strange and rapidly moving object hovering over the ocean off of Southern California. The videos seem to support the testimony of fighter pilot Commander David Fravor, who claimed he had witnessed an unidentified flying object, about 40 feet or 12 meters long, appearing at 80,000 feet or 24,000 meters, and then dropping quickly down towards the sea. At around 20,000 feet or 6,100 meters above the surface, the object paused and hovered. Neither Fravor nor any of the other pilots who were scrambled to investigate could identify what it was they saw. So Tom DeLonge had helped find this footage, and he leaked it to the world. Great, but couldn't that footage be of just about anything? This wasn't quite the AI age just yet, but it was very much the fake a supernatural video with a cheap camera age. Had Tom proved the existence of aliens? Or had he just proved that he was a crackpot? Plenty of people thought it was the latter. Everyone from bloggers to journalists to former fans had something to say. Some expressed their concern over the singer's behavior. Others just smirked and called him completely insane, particularly after a passionate appearance on Joe Rogan's podcast. Well, anyone who was laughing at Tom at the time wasn't laughing for long. In 2019, the US Navy confirmed for the first time that they had encountered what they called unidentified aerial phenomena off the coast of California. A year later, the Navy actually published the videos officially. And guess what? They were the same videos leaked by Tom. It turns out, Tom was right. Not necessarily about aliens and extraterrestrial visitations, but he was right that there have been encounters that can't be explained. And some of those encounters were kept quiet by the government and military. Although he also shared an article about the Smithsonian Institute destroying evidence of a race of giant superpeople who walked the Earth millennia ago, which turned out to be a hoax. So he's not been right about absolutely everything. In 2021, life threw a terrifying curveball at Blink 182. Mark Hoppus was diagnosed with cancer, and the outlook appeared bleak. Showing remarkable courage and tenacity, Mark beat cancer. That close brush with death and his miraculous recovery triggered something in the heart of his former bandmate. Friendship, it seems, is stronger than creative bickering and teasing over conspiracy theories. The guys wanted to make music together, just like the old days. So Tom rejoined Blink 182. In 2023, they released another album, entitled One More Time. It was the first album to feature Tom since Neighborhoods, more than 12 years earlier. It's a great record, and it really shows just why Blink 182 have become one of the biggest, if not the biggest, pop-punk bands of all time. As of 2025, it's the last Blink 182 album to date, but I think we can expect another one. Tom DeLonge said, as recently as August 2024, that Blink 182 will be the guys' priority forever. With what we're planning on doing, who we've become, and how we're doing it now, I think it's really, really exciting. But what is Tom himself planning on doing? After all, it's not like you can't investigate aliens and play in the world's foremost pop-punk band. And now that he's been vindicated with his leaked videos, I don't think Travis and Mark are quite so quick to poke fun at their friend. Mark even has a habit of saying Tom was right when the band plays Aliens Exist live. So yeah, we can definitely expect another Blink 182 album at some point. But I think we can expect more revelations from Tom DeLonge too. He's hinted that there's more evidence that's being covered up. What that evidence actually is remains to be seen. Thanks for joining me again on this one. It's been quite a journey into some of the stranger, unexplained sides of modern life. But what do you think? Is Tom right about alien contact? Or is there another explanation for those strange sightings off California? Let me know in the comments, and please like and subscribe, and stick around for more deep dives into the weird and wonderful world of pop punk.